McDonald.
And the reason why nurses and midwives are today on picket lines is because of your failures, your inaction, your absolute failure in not just in regard to the pay issue, but the recruitment and retention crisis that is associated with that. I stopped to stand on the picket line with nurses and midwives this morning, Taoiseach, on my way to work. I was at Temple Street, I was at the Rotunda, and I was at the Mater. And nobody that I spoke to this morning wanted to be on strike. In fact, it's the very last thing that they want. They were upset, they are angry, they want to be at work, they are aware better than anyone else of the stresses and strains that their hospitals are under. But they are resolute. They feel failed, they feel let down, they feel that they haven't been listened to and that they've been backed into a corner. And therefore they take the action of last resort, which is strike. They reject, Taoiseach, your reaching for the Brexit excuse. In fact, that made them more angry, and I suspect when they hear that the Minister for Health, Simon Harris, is also running for cover behind Brexit, they will be even more deeply angered. They have, as you have noted, broad support from the general public, and there's a reason for that, because people recognise the quality of care that's delivered by staff who are underpaid in unbelievably difficult circumstances, particularly in accident and emergency, but not only there. They're astonished, Taoiseach, that you, above all people, because you are a medical doctor, that you don't grasp and you don't get this. They're annoyed that you're sitting on the sidelines. You are acting as a commentator, a dispassionate observer of events. You are in charge. You are the head of government. You are the employer. You have a duty not to pass the buck on this issue, but to intervene. So, as you know, they're not looking for a special deal. They're not looking for condescension, to be told to wrap up warm and well. They're not looking for sympathy. They're not looking for tears. They're not looking for praise. They are looking for a just and fair settlement. And they believe that that can be achieved within the scope of the current pay agreements. That is their view. And what they want you to do as head of government is to come off the sidelines and to engage. I am assuming that you accept that we have a recruitment and retention crisis in terms of nursing. That's a fact. The figures on agency nursing tell us part of that story. I am assuming that you accept that our nurses, who are incredibly well qualified, deserve to be well paid and not insulted by being treated almost as second-class employees within the system. You have accepted that these workers are resolute in their position and that they will not back down.
Time is up,
so therefore, can I invite you, Taoiseach, to take the next logical step and commit to directly and personally intervene, to directly and personally engage. I am asking that of you today as Taoiseach and head of government.
Taoiseach.
Not entirely sure there was any questions there or solutions, just commentary. We have a mechanism by which industrial relations disputes are resolved, and all industrial relations disputes are resolved, and that is through the Workplace Relations Commission and the Labour Court. And these are state bodies, these are government bodies, and that is the mechanism through which we will engage, and I've no doubt in due course resolve this dispute. In relation to recruitment and retention, I absolutely accept that recruitment and retention is a real issue for the nursing and midwifery profession, but it is important to understand what that means and what it doesn't mean. The number of nurses working in our public health service has increased by more than 3,000 in the past 5 years since the recruitment embargo was lifted. The number of nurses working in our public health service, if you compare December of last year with December of the year before, is 860 more, and that doesn't include student nurses. So the impression created by some that there are more nurses leaving the country than coming into the country is not correct. The impression created by some that there are more nurses leaving the public service than are entering it is not correct. And those are the facts, and I hope you'll at least acknowledge those facts.
Deputy McDonald.
So, Taoiseach, then, are the pictures of our young nurses from Melbourne and Sydney and all around the globe asking you to give them a reason to come home, is that like fake news? Are they doctored images? Pardon the pun. I don't believe that they are. I think people know that, yes, certain nursing staff over the years would have gone for a year and come back. But the reality now is that we're losing so many of our best and brightest, and they're not coming back. Here's the other fact. There's a strike on today. How's that for a fact? Procedures have been cancelled, as you've acknowledged. How's that for a fact? Every man, woman and child in this land knows that should any of us get sick or a loved one fall sick, you want the very best of care for them. All of us know that that's only possible if you have the right staff, and you will only have the right staff if they are treated with dignity and if they're paid and rewarded at an appropriate level. How are those for facts, Taoiseach?
Deputy.
What the nurses and midwives want is very, very reasonable. And by the way, I know all about the industrial relations mechanisms of the state. You really don't have to keep repeating that to us as though we're morons. We're all well acquainted and well versed with all of that. I do not accept that you as Taoiseach, that it is satisfactory or acceptable for you to passively sit on the sidelines whilst this strike is on.
Thank you, Deputy.
I am asking you again, on behalf of the nurses and midwives that I spoke to this morning, they said, tell him to engage. You're their Taoiseach, you're the head of government, they are asking you to engage. If you're interested in sorting this dispute, Taoiseach, that is what you will do, and you will do it speedily.
Taoiseach.
Deputy, I don't think you're a moron, and I can assure you that I'm not a moron either. But if you keep asking me the same question, I will keep giving you the same answer. We have a mechanism under which we resolve industrial relations disputes. The Workplace Relations Commission, the Labour Court, they're state bodies, they're government bodies, and we are happy and willing to engage through that process. But this dispute can be resolved, and as explained before, it can only be resolved in a way that's affordable for taxpayers, in a way that's fair to all other public servants with whom we also have a pay deal, and in a way that is fair and beneficial to patients. And if those are the parameters, I think there is a very strong basis for engagement. I think it is important to set out again what the pay deal that we have with the INMO and all the other unions says. It runs till 2020. On our side, the side of government, we have a responsibility to pay pay rises of about 7% during that period, pay restoration for anyone earning less than €80,000 a year, annual increments and special pay rises for low-paid staff, and also new entrants recruited after 2012 and 2030. We will honour that agreement. On the other side, the unions have agreed that there would be no strikes and there would be no cost-increasing claims.